The first thing we must know about emotional withdrawal is that it's very real. It's common in our society today. We see it all around us. In fact, there is a research that 86% of the time, married couples who are happy turn to each other 86% of the time, while unhappily married couples turn to each other only 33% of the time, which means 67% of the time they're actually turning against each other or turning, away from each other. They don't really see the need to be connected. They seem to be miles apart from each other, not connecting, no physical attraction, no physical attention. Everybody seems to just be sorting themselves out in their own world. This shouldn't be the case with married couples. If you're married and you're listening to me and you know that you're no longer attracted to your spouse, or you're just angry with your spouse, or you don't feel like you need them anymore in your world, it's time to pay attention, because you may just be emotionally, unconnected or disconnected from each other, emotionally withdrawn from each other. Now, how can you recover from this? The first thing you must do for yourself is to understand that emotional withdrawal, like any other situation in marriage, if we are ready to play the part that we should play and put in the work, we can actually recover from it. It's not a disease, it's not a sickness, it's something that has happened as a result of an action or an inaction. So maybe you've been fearful, you've been angry about something, or your spouse is angry about something. They have not been put in that situation where they can be vulnerable with you. They feel totally, disrespected by you, or you feel totally disrespected by your spouse. You may just withdraw a little bit. Yes, that's emotional withdrawal. You don't feel like you enjoy them being in your space anymore. In fact, when your spouse walks into the room, all you want to do is walk out of that room. You don't really want them in your space. There is a problem, and it's called emotional withdrawal. Now, what can we do now that we've identified this problem? Remember, at the Couples Club, we aim to identify the problem, but also give you a solution to that problem. To every problem, there is a solution. Now, you can draw out your love map. What do I mean by that? Sit together, find out what happened, what led us to this point as a couple. Is it that we've been ignoring ourselves? Is it that we no longer pay each other attention? Is it that your spouse now feels like you've become a workaholic? All that occupies your mind is work, 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 and you claim to be providing for the family, and that's why you're doing that much work. Or you're just a person who doesn't listen to your spouse. Or there have been anger issues in your marriage, there's been an affair in your marriage, it's not been dealt with, it's not been treated, or it's just been swept under the carpet so that there's no argument, or you just don't feel loved again. These are some of the things that could have led you to the point where you are emotionally withdrawn from your spouse. So you must sit together and draw your love map. You need to start spending more time together. Find out the activities your spouse is interested in, and they must find out the activities that you are interested in. Now begin to spend more time working those activities together. Does your spouse love sports? Then of course you might have to make yourself available to watch their favorite game, or to go out together, take a walk together, go on dinner dates, spend quality time together. Really important. If you're going to recover from emotional withdrawal, you must be intentional about spending quality time together away from everybody else. You need to rediscover yourself again. You need to discuss about the past. You need to discuss about your future. You need to discuss about today. Talk about the situations that could make you love each other again. Hold hands together. I've talked about spending time together. Number two thing you must do that would really help you recover from emotional withdrawal is physical attention. What do I mean by physical attention? You can be with somebody and still be absent because they're not getting your attention at all. So physical attention means you are present in the moment. So you're talking to your spouse, you're not also on Facebook. You're talking to your spouse, you should not be on Instagram. You should not be answering WhatsApp messages or replying, phone calls when you're talking to your spouse. You should not be on your emails, checking through emails when you're talking to your spouse. Be present in the moment. Give your spouse physical attention and physical affection. Hold hands together. Many couples struggle when it comes to holding hands together or looking into each other's eyes. We're not talking about just sexual intimacy only. We're talking about building your physical attention and affection. Hold hands together. Be intentional about this. Walk together. Stop running ahead of your spouse. Walk together. Those are ways you connect with somebody. Hug them. Your spouse needs to be hugged by you daily. You also need to hug your spouse daily. Be intentional. Don't just leave the house without hugging your spouse, without a word of I love you, without a kiss in the morning, a kiss at night. Yes, a kiss in the morning, first thing in the morning. Oh my God, I find that really soothing. You wake up in the morning and you get a kiss first thing in the morning. It's actually very soothing. Those are ways you connect with your spouse. Pay attention to the things that matter to them. I've talked about physical intimacy. I've talked about physical being present in the moment. I've talked about spending quality time together. Also, be vulnerable with your spouse. There is nothing to hide. Be vulnerable with each other. Talk about your fears. Talk about things that disturb you. Talk about activities of the day. You had a rough time at work. Sit together and discuss it. This is what happened to me today. You find out as you talk, it's actually very soothing talking to your spouse and then to just reassuring you. Sometimes what your spouse needs from you is not a solution, it's assurance. They need you to give them words of assurance. Baby, don't worry, it's going to be okay. I know you can do it. I'm rooting for you. I'm right here beside you. If you need me, just send me a message. How assuring is that? Allow your spouse to be vulnerable and also be vulnerable with your spouse. Lastly, pray together. Many times couples have underestimated the power of prayer. We go weeks and weeks without praying. We go day into day without praying. And then we're going drifting apart from each other because there's no connection. Pray with your spouse and for your spouse. It's very soothing and binding. In fact, when you pray for your spouse, imagine holding hands and you pray together, you go to bed, you wake up loving each other. You go to bed loving each other. You wake up in the morning and the bond is stronger because you are together spiritually, because you are one. When you are praying together, you are actually affirming your oneness and God is included there. It becomes the glue that holds your marriage together. So go back again and begin to reconnect with your spouse. Never think it's too late. You can start today. Don't give up on your marriage. Don't throw in the towel. Come back together. You can be stronger together if you're willing to do the work.